Welcome to the People of DearDoc, an DearDoc Podcast, the show that brings you closer to the heart of our company. I'm your host, Billy, and each week we'll take you on a journey behind the scenes to meet the incredible individuals who drive our company's success. From marketing to product development, HR to sales, we're here to showcase the real people, the real stories, and the real passion that makes our workplace extraordinary. Whether you're a new hire that's eager to learn about our culture, or a seasoned pro looking to connect with colleagues that you've never met, this podcast is your invitation to join us in celebrating the unique talent that makes us who we are. So grab your favorite headphones, settle in, and get ready to meet the faces behind the roles as we dive deep into the heart of our company. It's time to discover the stories that inspire us, the ideas that drive us in the incredible journey that is DearDoc. Welcome to the People of DearDoc, an DearDoc Podcast. Let's get started. What's up, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of the People of DearDoc. Today we have a very cool guest with us. Joining us, Mr. Santiago Castro, member of our operations department. Santiago, how are we doing?
Hey Billy, all good. Thanks for having me. How are
Of
you?
course. We're doing great. Got some rainy weather here in New York, but nonetheless, we're doing good. So I want you to
Awesome.
kind of walk us through maybe like your background before joining DearDoc. What were you up to? Like maybe schooling, whatever else you did before working here at DearDoc.
Yeah, for sure. Before working here at DearDoc, I'm actually a civil engineer. So I graduated I think it should be now a couple years ago, 2 years ago. And before DearDoc, I was working at a construction company here in Mexico, in Guadalajara. And yeah, I mean, pretty much during university, like I was working with my family, like in some family business, and then like halfway in university, I decided to like go into work like something construction like related, like something with civil engineer related. So I went into this construction company. I graduated and I worked for a little while in there, but then I heard about DearDoc. My girlfriend used to work here, so she told me everything about DearDoc. And yeah, I don't know, I just wanted like that change. Also I wanted to try out, like I was very curious to see how first of all, how a US based company like kind of like operates and works.
Right.
And also like the remote part, like working from home and all that, like I was really like I wanted to try that out, and I've been loving it so far. So because
Yeah, it's
I've
cool, right?
been
Is this your first like time working remote? Working from home?
yeah, it is. So at the construction company, like I would go at the construction site. There's an office, like at the an office in there.
Hmm.
So yeah, like every day, from Monday through Saturday, like I would go like at 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. like every day. So I wanted to try something different.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like missing time for my family, like I wanted to travel. I don't know, like the way of life that I wanted to with working remotely, like that way of life, like I'm liking like that way of life, that if that makes sense, like I
Yeah,
get to
100%.
travel a lot, spend time with my family more, spend time with my girlfriend, so I'm liking it pretty far.
Yeah, it's awesome. Do you travel like frequently or?
Yeah, so I've been traveling. So my girlfriend, she's actually from San Diego, and her mom lives over there. So we've been traveling like back and forth to San Diego. Also some parts of Texas, like in the US, like throughout the year we go over there a lot. And also here in Mexico, like I love going to the beach. Like we go, there's a like pretty couple places here near Guadalajara where I love to go and like spend some time on the beach and work from the beach. So it's
That's
really
cool.
I'm trying to romanticize my life as much as possible. You
I mean,
know?
it sounds cool. You get to travel, you get to work while you're
Yeah,
doing it. Doesn't really take away from anything you're doing.
exactly.
So talking about like, your actual like role here, what exactly do you do here at DearDoc?
Yeah, so I'm an operations specialist. So really, there's a like we do a lot of like various stuff. Like we wear a lot of hats, like from being system admins in various softwares, like troubleshooting softwares, like for example with Aircall, Cores, Salesforce, and all that, to carrying out audits, like department audits, just to make sure that the processes that we currently have are the best processes and are the most efficient ones, and kind of like measuring how we're doing things around the departments and making sure that's like the best way to go. And to, creating new tools like the DearDoc library. I don't know if you've heard about that, but
Yeah.
our whole knowledge base, like creating those sort of like those projects, like to help us with our processes and to with our with all of documentation and all that. So yeah, we do a lot of like a lot. It's a very, I think, a lot of different things, but it always
Absolutely.
keeps you busy.
What would you say like is your favorite project or thing that you've been a part of while you've been here?
I think my favorite one, and I think the most impactful, has been the DearDoc library, because before, uh, we would see like all of these like documentation and all of these processes in our company, like all scattered around, and like whenever I was looking for a certain process, like didn't even know like where to look at.
Yeah.
So, and working this along with the Pops team, so big shout out to Barry too for helping us out with, especially with all the Monday tricks and all the all the automations from Monday and all that.
Mhm.
And I also liked it because I got to know more about Monday and all the like the powerful things that Monday can do for like for our daily tasks and our daily processes. So, and yeah, it's once we went when once we were done with that, it was really like I was so happy. Like everyone, like you can see in the Monday board, like whenever someone goes in and like checks the like documents and all that, like I would see a lot of people going in and checking the documentation, like other teams sharing their links and all that. I even got documents that I have to update, and there are people that remind me that I have to update my documents. So it's so funny, like, oh yeah, 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 I'm gonna update them. But and yeah, I'm just glad that it's being used, and that there wasn't something like this before in the company. So I'm glad that we got to create something like from scratch, and that now I think is gonna stay for at least for a long time here in the company. So I'm glad that that worked out.
Yeah, it's cool. I remember when that was first coming, like it was super exciting to see that. Now having all the information you possibly need is in one place and you can move through it freely. I think like when we got the actual walkthrough from it, it was super easy to actually understand. Where you think it might be complicated going into it. Speaking of things that are complicated, how difficult was it coming from your background, like being like working in construction and stuff like that, to going into this role now? They're two completely different things, right?
I mean, yeah, and in paper, like you could say like they're complete different things, but I guess and I don't know if this is something when you're like when you study something like engineer related, but you kind of like get programmed to think in a certain way, like to when you analyze stuff, like you think uh like I think the analysis part is, at least for me, I don't know like with other engineers, but it's really easy for me. So that was like really when I came into operations, like that analysis part and like uh building out flowcharts and building out like processes and like kind of like mapping everything that we have going on in the company is kind of like the same with engineering. So you gotta build a lot of also like process maps, a lot of analysis, and I think that's where we can like kind of like relate. So I think when I got into the operations like position, like I found a similarity, like with what I was already doing in the analysis part, and also with Salesforce, like building out all of these graphs and all of these databases and reports. So it's a lot of it's a lot of thinking, and sometimes like my head is on fire, but I love it. I love that.
Yeah,
I like that, to sit down and analyze data. And it's really the same with engineering when I was at school and my previous like position. So you could say like at first instance, like you could say it's a bit different, but then when you get really into it in the analysis part, it's really kind of like the same. So I was kind of like glad that I get to do this. So it's kind of,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
So if you have like a thing that comes up, like an issue that needs to be solved or whatever problem is you're working on, is it okay? You take the issue, what is it that needs to be fixed, and then how do you game plan to actually go ahead and put this into motion and like work on it? Is it like you have a system for that?
Yeah. So, um, I mean, for issues, so for example, when we analyze like a certain process, so we do have a system where kind of like we analyze the current process, we build process maps that really helps out a lot. Like we had this project that I had the operations team and me, like we had to build the whole flow chart of all the DearDoc processes. So we built from sales all over to customer success for every department. Like we would build like this visually, like this visual maps, and it really helps you a lot to like understand like okay, what's going on, where are redundancies, where can we maybe change a certain step, or maybe we can move around a lot of stuff. So I guess that's our system, like to visually first create like those maps and then see like where we can like make process a little bit more efficient. And then we tested them out. Like we test those with certain people. Like we run some tests, and then we evaluate those tests. Like we get data from them, and then if it's something that it's worth the change, or then we can do like a mass change, like with the whole department, the whole team. So yeah, we
Yeah.
do have like a certain like formal process, and yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's probably like a fun way of like problem solving almost.
Yeah, so and yeah, you put on the hat of like a detective. So I really like the process where whenever someone comes with an issue, or especially in Salesforce, like because we have tons of automation, tons of things going on. So I kind of like enjoy like okay, what's going on from the previous issues that I've already saw,
Mhm.
that I've already seen, like what maybe relates to this, and it's really cool. Like kind of like investigating and doing that detective work.
Yeah, absolutely. How long have you been here now?
I've been here for more than a year. September, so a year and 5 months. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm sure a
Mhm.
lot has changed from being here from the first day or first week to now. If you can go back in time and talk to yourself when you first joined here, what's one piece of advice you would give yourself?
Mm, oh, that's interesting. Because when I first started, like I was working in operations, but from the CS side, from the customer success side.
Okay.
So I guess one piece of advice is, and I think this is something that when we created the operations team like by itself, I think that's when with what I battled with the most is I was just like surrounded with CS processes, and I was like
Right.
I wouldn't I didn't have I didn't have like that curiosity to like go into the maybe to the sales department, like kind of like research on their processes, or hey, what are you doing on this side, or hey, over at marketing, hey, so what are your processes looking like, or I was just like in the CS side, and I was just like, oh, I don't need to know anything like from the rest of the departments. I
Right.
just need to know from CS. So I guess my advice would have been like get to know like all other teams, and like ask around and be more I guess from the outreach part, like to get to know the other teams and like other processes. Because when we created the operations team by itself, like the solo team,
Mhm.
that's what I battled the most. So I wish I would have just like had that knowledge beforehand, instead of like when we created the team, it was like handed to me like right in front of my face, like okay, now you gotta check all of these processes and come up with other like better ways to do stuff. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I think
But
that's one thing that's like what's cool about what we do and like how people are remote, but we have like access to everybody else where it's so accessible to message somebody from a different department and talk to them, like hop on a huddle and get to meet people. So it makes it easier for maybe something like that to actually like learn about a different department or a question you might have, and also to meet people. That's one cool thing we have about working remote. We talked a lot about your position and your time here. We mentioned a little bit before you like to travel and do other stuff. What other things do you like to do outside of work?
outside of work, I've been getting into golf recently.
Okay,
I've been getting more and more into golf. I think I've become obsessed with it.
that's what they say.
So yeah, no, and no, and I got into golf because of I have some cousins in LA that play golf. Like I think during the pandemic they got into golf a lot. Like I don't know, maybe it was because there wasn't much things to do, so they went golfing. and they loved it. And one time, like when I went and visited them, and we went to a golf simulator, and I loved it. And since then, like I've been researching, like I've been, I already bought some clubs, and I'm going every weekend to the golf range. So I don't know, like before, and it's funny, like before, I didn't even like think about, ever going golfing or anything like that, or looking into anything about golf, and now I'm super obsessed.
Have you seen DJ Khaled's videos
Oh
on
yeah,
golf?
yeah. Let's go golfing.
Yeah, let's go golfing. They're
For
hilarious.
sure, for sure.
I feel like
No,
golfing definitely blew up from that too. That's definitely a big part of it.
exactly. And yeah, I mean I mean every weekend like I will go to a golf range and just hit some balls, and it's super fun for me.
Mhm.
Apart from that, I enjoy, well, yeah, traveling, and also like going out with my friends,
Nice.
traveling with friends. I love video games. I play a lot of video games, horror video games I love.
What kind?
Um, what kind?
Yeah, what kind of games?
Oh, horror games.
What is that?
Horror? Like
Oh, horror
scary
games.
games. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Okay, got it.
sorry. Yeah, yeah. So really excited about, I think Silent Hill 2, the remake is coming out this Friday, so I'm really excited about that one.
Cool. What do you play
Um,
on?
PS5.
Okay, PlayStation
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, for sure. Always PlayStation.
I feel like
And
that's a big battle between like Xbox and PlayStation. Now you have like PC coming in, making a big change to everything.
yeah, I've before, like I wanted to get into like more into PC games, but that like buying the setup and all that, like I don't know, I was like, just buy the console, like it's already there, I didn't want to like
Yeah,
go through the trouble of the setup and all that. Um, but
that's when
yeah.
things can get out of hand too. Like if you start building a PC and getting into all these crazy things, it goes astronomically higher in price.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah. So every time like you're gonna want to buy a new, I don't know, like a new video card, like a better video card. So yeah, I also thought about like I'm gonna just keep buying more and more stuff to add to my setup. So yeah, I'm gonna stick to consoles, to the PS5.
Sweet. So golf, travel, hang out with friends, play video games. That's sweet. So we're gonna head into one of my favorite parts of the podcast now. This is like rapid fire questions. Think of it
Hmm.
quick and just say an answer. So the first one is gonna be if you could have a video footage from any memory in your life, what would it be?
Mm, it would be, I guess, when I was in high school and I traveled to Europe with my school, because I lost all, I'm saying this because I lost all photos and video footage
Oh, no
on
way.
that trip. So yeah, I guess if I could get that back, I would definitely get that back. It was a really good time, and a lot of happy memories happened in that trip.
We need that back for you.
Yeah, for
If you could
sure.
have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Um, I guess teleport anywhere I want. Like I'm so sick of I think it was super useful, like whenever you're stuck in traffic, like just I want to be in my apartment, in my bed, let's go.
I could
Whenever you're in an awkward moment, an awkward party, let's just go get into
ghost
bed.
the shit out of you, snap your
Yeah,
fingers, and you're
just
gone.
go. Exactly.
So next one is you win the lottery, let's say 500 million. What are the first three things you're doing?
First three things.
Hmm.
Um, I guess the first one, probably everyone thinks about this, or I don't know, but I guess like give some to my family, and some like my girlfriend, some friends, like just to, I don't want to keep it all about myself. I think
Yeah.
they're gonna. Um, Second thing, I think just travel the world, like organize a world trip, like visit different parts of the world. And third thing, mm, I don't know, probably buy. Oh, I know. I'll probably buy a yacht. So
Yeah,
whenever I go to the beach, and yeah, have my own yacht, I guess.
that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Last one is gonna be if you had to go live in like an alternate universe from either a video game, movie, TV show, what would it be?
Hmm. Mm, it's a good one. Um, I guess I want to say in the Marvel universe, but I think there's like a lot of chaos going on.
That is a lot of chaos.
Yeah. Um, Jesus, I don't know. I can only think of like these dystopian universes, like Hunger Games and stuff, but that's not good. Um, I don't know. Probably I'm just gonna say like Marvel universe. I guess I just like want to see like a world with superheroes in it, maybe.
That would be crazy. Like instead of calling the police, like all of a sudden, like Spider-Man, whoever just shows up instead. You're just
Exactly.
seeing it
Yeah.
from afar.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe he would be better than the police that we got here over in Guadalajara.
It might be. It might be. Awesome. So
Yeah.
we're gonna wrap it up here. Santiago, thanks for coming on. Thanks for joining us. It's cool to learn more about you and your role here. I'm sure if anyone has any questions, you're more than welcome to talk to them, message them
Yeah.
on
Sure.
Slack and whatever else. But thanks again for coming on.
No, thank you, Billy. Thanks for having me. And it's a great show, by the way. I really enjoy listening to it.
Cool. Thank you.
No
Let's see if
worries.
that stops. I'm like learning how to use this now too. So this is my first time ever doing it.
No, no worries.